Alright, now we're moving on to the expenses section. Now for the fun and very detail-oriented segment, if not the most important segment towards the formula, the expenses. Let's start out with your expenses, or your liabilities, or in simpler terms, what you owe. Now, income is simple, but expenses, those add up, come from nowhere, turn into bad situations at certain points as well. With the right plans, all expenses or dreams are achievable. And learn to maximize on opportunities like a television purchase, Black Friday shopping, or Amazon store cards, delaying payments, getting 5% back. In other words, a quadruple dip of savings. Let's maximize our expenses to our benefits. To start off, we're going to be looking at housing and housing expenses. So let's start off with the primary factor, typically a guaranteed expense that everyone is going to experience. You need to understand the Maslow law, and that is shelter. So how do you go about that? Parents, maybe live with them. Apartments, purchasing a house, maybe renting a room. What do you do? Because you have to rent somewhere, you have to live somewhere, and you are lucky enough to not go and live somewhere and live with your parents. That's a huge benefit. Or maybe you have a mortgage, whatever the situation is. So if you have a mortgage, this takes up a ton of your expenses. As the old wife tale states, 1/3 of your monthly gross income should be used towards your mortgage. It's outrageous, to be honest. You need a simple house, a simple apartment where you pay for what is truly livable and not emotional to you. Once you get into the emotional aspect, then you're moving past what you physically need. A 2-bedroom could cost you $1,600, or a studio for $1,400, but a fraction of the size. Maybe you want an apartment in the heart of a city for $2,300 or $4,000, or maybe you're content with a small house for $1,600 and a 20-minute train ride or a 20-minute drive or even a 20-minute walk away. We're then talking about having ownership, putting your money to work for you into an investment. That would mean a mortgage. Or are you looking at more being all right, putting money into the trash, as we call it, while we're renting? But that trash may be beneficial because we're discussing or creating a new idea on how to save capital in hopes to mortgage a house or buy a house, whatever the situation is, so that you do not need to rent anymore and you can have your money working for you. Maybe we don't have a credit score yet. We're in college. We want to live with our friends in an apartment in the middle of the city. We don't have job security yet that can have us achieve a mortgage. This is more convenient, and that's what apartments are for. Whatever it may be, it's up to you and your comfort level. So, what is the right plan for all expenses? Like I said, maximize your expenses. All dreams are achievable. Think smarter, not harder. And lastly, look for the deals. Maybe it's 1 month free on a 12-month contract. Whatever the situation is, think smarter, not harder. So, the basics. Where do you live? How do you live? Are you cost conscious? Maybe you have rental or home insurance that comes in. Do you have a protection of your wealth, safety, a security? Housing insurance is something offered by large insurance companies in the insurance realm, and this is very important because most of us, upon purchase of a house, believe that this house will appreciate in value. Thus, why not insure the assets that we will own? In the insurance section of this course, we'll go more into depth on why housing insurance and varieties of insurance are available. So that's just to have an apartment or a house of some shelter with some insurance, because you never know what can happen. So, housing. Do you want to rent or do you want to own? Do you want to live simple, enjoy life, do what you physically need? Anything on top of that is just a premium payment. For example, the 20-minute drive into work for a savings of $1,000 a month. I don't know, whatever the situation is. Maybe you want a 2-bedroom that could cost $1,600. Or do you want a studio that's $1,300? Rent, you should be reducing your cost, saving up. Rent versus mortgage, that's what we're going to go into in another section later on. Do you want to dump money or do you want to grow your wealth? You should decide, because that's extremely important to move forward, which one you decide to choose. So, like we stated a minute ago, housing and the upkeeping. Maybe you have insurance. Insurance is quite costly. But it's a protection of your wealth. If somebody robs your house, for say, if somebody leaves the oven on and a house fire comes about, whatever it is, housing insurance, which we'll talk about in another later section more in detail, will be the protection of your wealth. Maybe you need upkeeping like cleaning, you need a pool work, or you need a landscape work. Whatever it is, these are more bills that add on to your cost. Next, the largest bill, and this is your utilities bill. Utilities include the necessities to live life and to strive. This is needed. Simple things like gas, water, sewer, electricity, trash, Wi-Fi. All of these are unique, but yet very important and connect us all together to live. And easily, to find out your utilities, go on your utility website. Go and check out the monthly mail statements that come in. You have to fill your house with furniture as well eventually, and you need to understand what these specific furniture appliances could be, bringing in utility costs with all of that. Do you have HOA fees? In other words, homeowner fees, homeowner association fees. And there's pest control. Some people, if you live in Arizona, maybe you have to fight against scorpions. But if you live in Texas or Florida, you're fighting against bugs and the humidity bringing in unwanted guests. Do you have Wi-Fi, internet? Do you have a landline phone still connected? What about home security? Do you have ADT? Maybe you have a Amazon Ring. Whatever it is, these are all utilities that can come into play. And always remember, homeowners association fees, they're fees, and nobody likes fees. And nobody likes their homeowners association either. What about those upgrades that you want in your house? Do you want new furniture? Maybe you're looking at getting new appliances in your kitchen. Maybe you want home improvement. You're looking at upgrading the tile floor, or you're looking at redoing the carpets, whatever it is. Then there's a section of others. Maybe you want art. You want paintings throughout it, or you want decorations for your holiday thing. You really go out and about and decorate your house for Halloween, or you decorate your house for Christmas, and you really have an extended utility bill for that time. Whatever it is, just need to budget it and try to figure out how everything works together. So to summarize all of that, housing versus renting, you really need to understand which one you want to do. And once you set your mind to it, and once you decide to do it, move forward. Have your money work for you, or throw it in the trash. And just alone, as the wives' tale goes, 1/3 of your costs, you need to understand the utility cost for whatever size you want. If you're renting, we always say minimize the living expenses, save up for something more worthwhile. So keep a small apartment rather than a multi-bedroom apartment, or keep a 2-bedroom apartment and rent one of the rooms out. Split your utility costs, whatever it is. Be conscious about how you want to move forward with your house and what the cost will be coming with that. New appliances, start saving up for those, whatever the situation may be. But we always will come back to throw away your trash, throw away your trash and rent money, or have your money work for you, building your assets in a mortgage. Are you renting or do you have a mortgage? With this section, we're going to go with the idea that we have a mortgage. And that mortgage is going to come in at a whopping $1,600, or on average, the cost of a 2-bed, 2-bath apartment as well. So you have insurance costs. Let's say that's $100 out the door. This applies to apartments as well, and renting other people's homes, rental insurance. You have gas, electric, and water. These are going to be $250 depending on your region, wherever you are. Sometimes California water is a little bit more scarce, or they want to charge you a little bit more than opposed to the East Coast. Or for, say, you're in Arizona and your AC costs way too much to keep running because the air outside's 116, but in California it's nice, clean, 80, 90 degrees all summer long. Your sewer and trash, let's just say this comes in at a whopping $45 for that guy early in the morning to pick up your trash cans. Sometimes if you're in an apartment, they charge you for this, a service for bringing your trash or taking it out for you. You want to get new furniture in your living room and you decide to buy the $2,200 living room furniture set, and you can either finance it at your local furniture store or you can buy it outright. But in this example, because we're budgeting, we're going to learn how to save money and go to Goodwill or a local discount store or a secondhand shop, and we're going to budget in $500 for that. But keep in mind, if you do the furniture store, you can take that $2,200 in furniture, pull it out for 3-year payments because you have this new house, and it's going to bring in about $45 to $65 a month on furniture, which really isn't that bad when you think about it. As long as you're up to date with your payments, life will be good. Landscape and pool. This is another thing that we need to understand owning a house. If you're in an apartment, don't even need to think twice about it. But most people have green grass lawns. Other people have a nice blue pool, and those all cost money. So we're going to say you pay somebody $60 every 2 weeks to come by, if it's a pool boy, or if it's your landscaping company, or maybe you pay the pool guy $80 and $40 in chemicals, things like that, because you do the lawn yourself, or whatever the situation is. Some people have house cleaners. Now you really got to think this one through. Cleaning, as we all know, takes some time to clean. So value your time, like we learned in the income section. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to spend 8 hours cleaning when you make $20 an hour? That's $1,600, and you're doing that twice a month for, say, I don't know what your situation is, but it starts adding up if you value your time, opposed to a cleaning service that charges $60 for just a basic little clean, a few hours, and twice a month. So let's just say that you're looking at $120 in cleaning. People that own homes have home taxes to pay, and instead of piling it all up at the end of the year, you should really learn to stretch that out throughout the following months. So let's say your home taxes are pretty low. Let's just go with a whopping $80 coming in at, anywhere on home taxes from $1,000 a month, or $1,000 a year to possibly, $600, depending on whatever region you're in and what they charge. Next, we have pest control. Usually they get you up front and they say $125 or $200 to get all the equipment in your house and the big time pest, pest sprays and pest traps and all of that. And then they just charge you monthly. So we're going to go with a monthly cost of $25 to keep up with that. HOA fees. If you're renting, got nothing to worry about. But most people that own houses that are in an association, we hate that stuff. And they really come out to get you because you left the trash, or your uh, house color isn't up to par with what they think is the best, and things like that. So let's say your homeowners association, now we're coming in at $100 for the fee. You want Google Fiber, some of the best 1 gigabyte fiber optic Wi-Fi, or you want Suddenlink or Cox Digital Cable, whatever it is. Let's just say we're looking at a whopping $80 for your Wi-Fi. You want that home security, that ADT, safety for me, or maybe you want the Ring on your door, or you have security cameras that you set up. All of this can range, but we're going to say your typical home security payment is going to be about $35 a month, and you're going to want to push that out throughout the other months. Next, you're looking at home improvement. Maybe you have one big purchase in May because the weather's getting a little hot and you want a new AC unit, or maybe you want to redo the pool, or whatever the situation is. You want to do new carpets, do new tiles, you want to repaint the entire house. You should really budget that in and say, hey, if May's going to cost us $500, let's just put $100 throughout every single month, so that when May comes around, we already budgeted all of that in. And for others, we're going to leave that just blank for now. So we'll go over to the expense summary section, and we can see that just the house alone is going to now cost us $3,155. Quite a bit, but we'll soon fill all of this out, and you can see how valuable owning a house is compared to renting, as well as the miscellaneous costs that come about with home ownership, and the miscellaneous expenses that happen that you don't think about when you want